So I suppose that's a bit of a quick rundown. But I've got some of your questions. If you are not on Twitter right now and don't have the ability to ask a question via Twitter, then grab your phone and write down this number, type in this number, my number, use it for good, not evil. It's 0438. You can text me a question and I'll pose it to the panel. 0438 086 087. That number will self-destruct when this event is over. Let me start with some of the questions that you asked earlier today. So let's start with Darren, and it's a simple question. What is the secret to your blogging success?
Someone could write a book about that.
I don't think they did. 31 days to a better blog.
It's really hard to quantify it and really put your finger on it. It's everything from, I started 8 years ago and I've blogged every day since. And when you provide useful information to people every day for years, it gets to a point where they feel like they know you, where they feel like they want to tell their friends about you, where they run up to you in conferences and hug you without you having any idea who they are. There's something about being useful to people constantly and for a long time that actually builds credibility and authority. The fact that people call me an authority on my topics is bizarre to me, but I guess that's come out of daily blogging. I guess there's some ability. I've always been interested in communication. I'm a terrible writer. My grammar and spelling is appalling, but I kind of feel like I have some sort of an ability to kind of get to the meat of people's needs and help them through that. And that's the feedback that I get from people, is that they feel like I'm talking in a personal tone directly to them. So I guess that comes over time. You develop your voice, you experiment with different styles and different types of posts, and yeah, over time you just learn what people like and what they don't like, and what makes them angry and what makes them happy and what makes them spread what you're doing around, and you build on that success.
Cool, thank you. Tips?
It's really a tricky question. I think I totally agree with Darren. It is all about having your own voice, and I think, you know, you can write post after post after post and they can be completely dull because you're just writing in some sort of generic voice. So I would say you should always write in your own voice. Write the way that you speak, you know, and if you have those little nuances in your conversation or in your speech, then add those in. Like, don't be afraid to, yeah, carve your own path and make your own, you know, make your own voice, and let people know what your voice is like. I think when people read something that I've written, they know that I've written it because I just write it the way that I speak, I guess, and that is the strength of my blog. I mean, the other good thing about my blog is that it sort of came off the back of our shop. I guess we have a shop in Fitzroy called Meet Me at Mike's, and yeah, so people get to come and say hello to me, and they get to meet me and my family, and you know, actually they get to see that the blog is not all bull dust. It's actually our real life, and it's completely authentic, and yeah, you know, I don't really have to sell it to anyone because it's just true. So that's what the secret of my blogging success is. My blog is true.
Never say never to sales. Everyone has a price. 2 secrets to blogging is probably, and you've already touched on your description of me, you know a little bit about everything. You see journalists particularly come. Is there any journalists here? I'm about to insult you. I don't mind. Excellent. Close your ears. Journalists come into blogging, for example, and they think, well, we know about writing, therefore we're going to be highly successful about that. In blogging, it doesn't work that way. You need to have a background. Well, my background was marketing. Unlike Darren, I didn't lose God. I actually left a job as a staffer member for a member of Parliament, which made me evil. The opposite of anyhow.
The devil.
Is to know about marketing, is to know about SEO, is to know about obviously some schools of writing, to know a little bit about information systems, servers. I do everything in-house. I mean, we have a team of 8 now, and I have some admin assistants, but all the web design, all the servers is all done by me. The other thing I always tell people is to never ever be convinced that you're right, because you never are. We are constantly changing what we're doing and evolving and trying to do it better. You see, particularly in the startup space in Australia, that people come along with an idea. Oh yeah, we're going to give it 12 or 18 months, 2 years, and it doesn't work. I had a new logo within 3 months. We have got into content streams and then taken them out because they didn't work. We've refined the way we write. I've changed writing teams a couple of times. Some writers worked, some writers didn't. You have to be constantly changing. You always have to know that you can always do it better.
Thank you, Kenny. Now, you're all a little bit different in that, you know, I know, Darren, you have guest posts occasionally and other writers occasionally. Duncan, you've got a team of other writers. And so I guess the question is, you at some point decided that it would be best to add a couple of dimensions to the blog. And so at what point was that it wasn't just you, but there were guests coming in and other writers writing for you?
I'm probably a little bit different because this is my third blog now, and that's not including the 300 I had with Darren at P5 Media. So in this case, I actually started with a team of 4 writers from the day in. I had some money put aside from it, which Darren graciously gave me when I left P5 Media, and I used that to go straight hard from day one. We've added since then. We've cut back at times. The ad market is still all over the joint in the States. But yeah, I mean, we grow as we see opportunities, and we can afford to do so.
Can you just explain Inquisitor just for the people who don't?
Okay, so the Inquisitor, for lack of a better description, is a bit like news.com.au. So, but we don't do a lot of general news. We do tech, sport, celebrity gossip, and odd and funny stuff. They're all personal interests of mine or areas I'd worked in previously. Everyone said we were mad when we started doing it. I don't think we're going too badly. So last month was our highest ever month. We did 1.3 million unique visitors and 5.92 million pages.
Very cool. Pretty good. Guest bloggers?
Well, I don't really have guest bloggers because I have a lot to say. And
you went away for a week and had guest bloggers.
Well, that was actually an intervention
because
my friends decided that really my blog was just taking over my life, and I was in fact addicted rather than obsessed. Maybe it's the same thing. And so they staged an intervention and they took over my blog for a week, which was actually really nice because I liked reading my blog and I realised why other people like reading it too. But generally, I don't really have guest bloggers because I just have so many ideas about what I want to write and what I want to share, and you know, there's lots of community projects I want to share. There's lots of great music and recipes, and holy cow, like I could just sit at that computer all day and never run out of stuff to write about. So I don't know where I'd fit a guest blogger in, but maybe I should. I don't know.
So for me, it probably varies from my different blogs. I have 3 blogs. My smallest blog is called Twitip, and that is all guest posts, so it's a user-generated content. The whole community contributes to that. ProBlogger, I put 2 or 3 guest posts up a week, and the reason I started to do that was that I realised that I only had one view on my topic, and that there was so many other people out there who could bring something different to that. It also lightened the load, which was nice, although sometimes editing someone else's post can take longer than writing it. So I've become more of an editor in that sort of way. And I won't ever move that completely to guest post because it's tied to my brand and who I am. My biggest blog, Digital Photography School, is probably 80% written by others, and they're paid authors and guest contributors. So I got to a point about a year into that blog where I realised it had grown to a point where I was able to earn enough to be able to start paying other people. And so I advertised for authors and hired 4 to write a weekly post each, and now I have a team of about 10 who do a weekly post each, and then another community of guest writers. And again, it's about diversifying the opinions. Like, I have some expertise in photography, but I'm not a professional photographer. I've never had to do certain things that other professional photographers would do. So by hiring people, I think I've made the content better as well.